First, I would like to introduce the first speaker, who was the Dharma name as the Prathamma Sakya Wamsasuti. He was the Vice Rector of Mahamakut Buddhist University and the Honorary Lecturer of the World Buddhist University. Please welcome Venerable Monks, Prathamma Sakya Wamsasuti Anil Sakya, please. And now we start from the first speaker. May I request Pante Anil Sakya, Pratham Sakya Sakya Wong Visut, for the first speaker, please.
Venerable colleagues, distinguished guests, and brothers and sisters in the Dharma. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer who kindly organized this event, which is a cultural event. But in addition to just a cultural, we are trying to make that culture even meaningful by having this small kind of a presentation on the international forum called Dharma and Longevity. Well, there is two words there when we talk about these topics. But I am a bit in doubt about the real topic here, because when I was reading, or even in the pamphlet, I noticed that it is spelled differently. Because Dharma, if it is a Sanskrit, it should be a D-H-A-R-M-A. Or if it is a Pali, it should be D-H-A-M-M-A. So it is a fusion between the Pali and Sanskrit, and then I'm not so sure that it is the same word, what I understand as a Dharma or Dhamma in Pali, or it is a local dialect in India which has a such word, I don't know, Dharma. Same, okay. So that's the one thing that when I was looking at, I'm not so sure what should I address on. So if it is a Dharma, so I'm okay, I'm a little bit okay with that. But if it is a local dialect, then I have to really ask the Northeast Association, is that a Northeast, it is a Ishana Disha's language or not? Because just recently we have seen that there's at least 8 different dialects were just sung during the opening of the event. Well, if we are talking about the word, 2 words here, Dharma and longevity. So it is something, I guess, every human, every individual is always looking for, especially the second word on longevity. It is said in the Buddhas, I think is Veludawara Sutta, one of the suttas in Samyutta Nikaya. It is says that every single being in this world has that wish, jivitukama, which means that everyone wants to live. Okay? Everyone wants to live, want to survive. So when we think in that sense, I don't know what's wrong with all these people who suicide themselves. I think they have something wrong with that, because it is not natural at all. Naturally, everyone want to live, because if we want to suicide, it is not shouldn't be that difficult actually. If you really want to die, you just stop your breath. But can we? No. But we need all this equipment to be suicide in order to do that. So it is very unnatural. The second is that it is amritukama. It's not only want to live, but you don't want to die. You want to be amara. You want to be eternal. That is another word for longevity. Although everyone knows that one day we have to die, But when that day is come, we are so scared of that death. We don't want. I still not finish my job. I still not finish my responsibility. You come with all this unfinished job for an excuse to live longer and longer and longer. Although naturally it is not possible at all. And then of course another wish is that everyone is sukhakam. So that means that everyone want to be happy. That is for sure. Everyone want to be happy. But what kind of happiness we are talking about here? Because if you think of the happiness, we have a very different meaning from the East and West. From the Western point of view, when we talk about happiness, it is all about pursuing for happiness. It is somewhere out there, I don't know. So that's why it's always pursuing, and they never meet the happiness. They never experience happiness. Whereas in our Eastern Oriental language, we call sukha. It is actually the same word as a dukkha. It's a two word, it's the same word actually. The difference is that the prefix. Su is a prefix, du is a prefix. Du means that the difficult, su means that the easy. So the root verb here is a ka. And what does ka means that it's a tolerance, it's a patience. It's an adjustment. So that's why if you think that as happiness in our language or in our Eastern world, happiness is not something that you have to pursue. Happiness is something you have to just twist your mindset. Just change a little bit of your mindset. Then it's become, in English we say that take it easy. That is the whole idea of a sukha. But I can't stand anymore. That is a dukkha actually. You see, you can't stand because I don't know this monk what he's talking about. No, it's already late. You are in the hell now. You are in the dukkha now. But you find that we have never thought about that we speak these two words so often, but we never know what is that derivation of those words. Interesting. And then you forget your time, then you forget your snacks, then you forget everything, and you enjoy it. Take it easy. So that sort of idea is that every single human being, or even the animal, any creatures, they want to be happy. And that happy is nothing something to pursue. It's something that you need to have ability of cognitivity, or cognizing, a realization. And the fourth is that the dukkha patikula means that everyone hates the suffering. Or the word suffering is not a good word actually. So I will just put it, the dukkha itself. So it is that you can't stand. And everyone doesn't want to have you should go to the party and you don't know anyone in the party, you feel uneasy. And you don't want that sort of situations. So whatever you do in your life, so these are the four different things the Buddha says that every human always asking for. So when we come to the term longevity, the Dharma, I will give the second part. I think I have a 20 minutes something, is that right? Okay, already 5 minutes gone. So if we think of the word Dharma, so which I'll come to later. So let's go to the word longevity. So what is longevity all about? When we think of the word longevity, if we take in the English background, then it is from the Latin word. Long, L-O-N-G-U, long, and the evum. That is a Latin word. Which means that long means that very long, and evum means that age. Longevu, the Latin word means that a long age. Okay? So that is an etymology which started to use in English literature around mid-16th century. Before that, we might have an age, we might have an old, but the sense of longevity is not there. That is important thing to really look at it. We thought that longevity should be everyone's wish, isn't it? But in terms of literature, in terms of invention of the word itself, there wasn't such a word as longevity before 16th century. It was just only the mid-16th century, the combination of these words come together and then made of the word longevity. which means that living long. But if you look at the kind of development of the word itself, again, it is quite interesting to see the social evolution of that very word. The social evolution of that very word, as I say, just says that it was in the mid-16th century, it was invented, it was sort of made it up. And then just around 19th century, the uses of that longevity is the least used in all over the world, in all literatures. So what's happened? Why in the 16th century it is, if you put the graph is 16th century goes, and during the 19th century it goes down. And then after 19th century it's picking up, and this is the 21st century, now it is highest of ever. Which means that if you look at the social history of that very term, during the 19th century, people were not talking about longevity. Is that something that we should notice? What happened then? So what is the relevance of longevity when we talk these days now? Why these days we are talking about longevity so much? In every literature, the uses of the word, it is so high these days that in every language and everywhere we talk about every expectations, every kind of goals of life or whatever, you are talking about longevity. So I guess that during the 19th century, it is some period, we lost the whole value of longevity, I guess, because it was just a time of the war. There's the First War, Second War, and all those things. And then no one can imagine of the long age, I guess. Everyone is, how do we survive day-to-day life? We don't know when the bomb will just fall upon our head. We don't know when the bullet will cut through our body. So that's why at that time the longevity is irrelevant for people to think. That should be one theory to think about. But nowadays, the society is affluent, economic is affluent. Although during the COVID or during the time to time we have the economic crisis time to time, but it is not that crisis that our life is in danger. Of course, in some part of the world, like in Ukraine and some of other Africa, there might be incidents happening, but still people is always, there is a scope, there is a way of thinking that we could live longer. And then especially with the development of this technology, especially medical technology, and especially the military medical technology, which make us that life can be extended longer than when we wish for or when we get. So that is the one thing that we can think in that sense. Longevity basically means in English. But when we bring that very word to again in the Eastern language, then we got a big problem here. We call Ayu. Ayu.
We also call it Ayu.
Yeah. Yes, that is it's all East. Not only Europe, in Thailand called Ayu, everywhere mostly we call Ayu. So when the Ayu, what does Ayu means? Ayu basically means life, vitality, duration of life, even the age or whatever. In Thai language, for example, to give you a small example, in Thai language, Thai Royal Dictionary, Pachananukom Rachabandit, it is said that the Ayu has 4 meanings. The first meaning will be the time of living, the lifetime. 2 is that a cumulative time from birth to the time of speaking. So this is how old are you, whatever. Then 3rd is a prescribed time. So in every medicine, whatever, every food, and you have expiry date. That is also Ayu, Mot Ayu. And then the 4th is a time period of things. For example, if you are finding some fossil and whatever, so what is this stone, how long? So that, from the 100 years or 1,000 years, whatever. So these are the 4 meaning of Ayu in Thai language. But whereas in Pali, when it comes to the Buddhism, these 4 meaning is narrowed down. Of course, there is a meaning in terms of numbering as we used to do when people in Thailand, when you are asked that how old are you, so are you Thaurai, which means that it's a numbering, the ayu means a numbering. But in fact, in Buddhism, in a Dhammika sense, ayu doesn't mean number. Okay? So longevity, as we understand from the Buddhist perspective, is totally different from theistic religion, for example, for Hindu, for Christianity. Longevity for theistic religion is that, that is an expectation of every human being. So you know that as a human life can be maximized up to around 100, that's so. But you still want longer than that, so you are given by the religion that, okay, you want to live longer than that, go with the God, live with the God. Longevity. That is a ammata. So you won't die, everlasting, eternity. So you got the swarga, you got the heaven, where time is nothing. Time is not relevant there. So you want to have this longer longevity in your life, but you know that by nature it is not happen. So you are lured, you are taught by all religion idea that, okay, you still can have it, but you have to be with God, or you have to do something in order to go there in the paraloka. That is a longevity, you see. But in Buddhism, we are speaking here in the temple, we have a different meaning. Longevity, like of every monks, every here Thai monks, when they're giving a blessing after they give anything offered by the donors, we say that Abhivadana Silisa and so on, and then Ayu Vano Sukhang Palang. And all these Thai who are very devout will start to pat their head, or even put their hands on head as a symbol of taking the blessings. So there doesn't mean that ayu is that the numbering, I guess. Does everyone want to be old? Do I say that, okay, after ayu donation, so I will bless you to be getting old, very, very old soon? Doesn't mean, of course, that the ayu there. Increasing the ayu doesn't mean that it is. So what does it mean? It means the vitality. It means that the force of living. It means that the healthy and wealthy living. You see? So longevity in Buddhism, in the Tripitaka, meaning, in the Visuddhimagga you can see that it is mentioned as the same ayu in terms of general human being has the lifespan of 100. You still use it, but it's a commentary period. But if in the Tripitaka, the old text, it says that ayu means that the vitality. It is a power. It is an energy to live. It is your intention to live. So that's why the longevity is dependent on how you act. So if you have just only the willing to live long, but you are behaving, you are doing, you are speaking something totally, cutting your life, then it doesn't work. So that's why it has to be, the Dharma has to be there. So that's why I say that if you want to live a longevity in terms of, not a long in a time span, but quality-wise. In terms of quality-wise, you have a healthy and wealthy. Health and wealth. Health and well-being. Actually, in English, the word wealth doesn't mean any property, anything. It is an extension of the word health, actually, if you know the origin of the word itself. Health is something which is inside. So wealth is something that all surrounding us, which is like this room is a cozy and good and everything. That is a wealth. So it is nothing to do with money. It is nothing to do with finance. But it is something to make our life more quality, more happy, more tolerable, and all those things. So that's why I would say that the word Dharmayu, which I combine here, means that the ayu is only relevant, it's only become pleasurable, agreeable when you have a dharma with that. So what is a dharma after all? I think I'm beyond the time a little bit here. What is the word dharma? Again, a dharma in Hindi could be a religion, it could be a principle, it could be a doctrine, the Buddha dharma, Hindu dharma, whatever you want to call it. But a dharma by itself, again, it is another word, if I use a fancy word for the modern world, it's a sustainability. Because the root word means that upholding. You see? So if you want to live your life along, so you need to have a dharma to keep that life long as you wish. You need to have some of the virtues, some of the character, some of the principle which you have to understand from yourself as well as put them in practice. So for example, if you go to there's in the Tripitaka, I think at least there's two sutras which says that sutras of lifespan, Ayu Sutra. There's a two Ayu Sutra in the Pali Tripitaka, and there's another two sutras about the making our life long and short, Anayusa Sutta. So based on that, but it says that life is very short. Our life is very short. The certain is death. So in order to live the shortened life, it depends on how do you use that very time you have it now, not thinking of the future, okay? When you think of longevity, you always think of future. From Buddhist idea is not about future. How do you make this life here and now more happier, not troublesome, looking at the society in a way that is a unified and harmonious society. You are with the harmony with the nature. So you have this kind of a very idealistic sort of a society, community. And that is what we call a longevity. And that's why all the surroundings, all the friends and family, everything what you got in makes you want to live more. And then you can do that as well, because the things happen is that when you are surrounded with all good things, you have become good, and then that good can prolong longer. So this is the whole idea of a Dharmayu here. Dharma is an element, it is a foundation to make your life longer in a quality way. It is not a longer in terms of a lifespan. So if you think the longevity can be done by not killing that, doing these things, that is another way of thinking. But from Buddhist, from the Tripitaka idea, longevity is only possible if you do the cause of longevity. For example, if you want to be healthy, you should take care of your body or your health seriously. If you just want and drink as you like it, but you said that I want to live long, well, if your body can tolerate, maybe you can live long. But if you don't tolerate, it's not only that. All the disease may come and follow after. So these days we have seen that our society is plagued with the cancer everywhere. Where that cancer come from? I guess this is our habit of eating, our habit of living, because it is not healthy enough. All the surroundings, all the pollutions, like these days, I heard that the 2.5, the dirt pollution is 2.5, very high, and these are all this, which makes our life not long. Longevity has become so far away. Therefore, I would suggest that when we bring these two words, Dharma and Ayu, together, so if you want to have a life of quality, not a number itself, so what Buddha says that you have to practice, you have to do all the elements, all the practices which can upkeep, which can uphold that longevity as a quality of life. So that's why in the Dhammapada it says that even you got 100 years of time, but you are immoral, but you are doing something very bad, and there's no value of it. But you are here just even 1 minute, but you have a virtue. You are practicing the way your thinking is virtuous. You are doing virtuous, you are speaking virtuous, and that is more worthy than being 100 years of longevity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Venerable Sir, for sharing your wisdom with us and for enlightening us about the Dharmayu and longevity. I just come to